You wake up in the morning, and before the day has even started, your body already feels stiff, heavy, or uncomfortable. Not sharp pain, just that familiar feeling that something doesn't move as easily as it used to. And you might wonder, is this just part of getting older, or is my body trying to tell me something? A lot of people experience this quietly. They stretch a bit, push through it, and move on with their day without really understanding why it keeps happening. The confusing part is that it often feels random. Some mornings are better, some are worse, and no one really explains what's going on in simple terms. Today we're going to talk about what may be happening inside the body, how everyday habits, especially in the morning, can play a role over time, and why small, consistent choices often matter more than people realize. This isn't about quick fixes or extreme changes, it's about awareness. If this sounds familiar to you, you're not alone. Feel free to share your experience in the comments. And stay with me, because the next part is where most people finally start connecting the dots. You wake up, sit at the edge of the bed, and before your feet even touch the floor, you feel it. That stiffness, that heaviness, that sense that your body needs a few extra moments just to cooperate. It's not dramatic pain, it's subtle, familiar, and easy to brush off. Many people do. They assume it's just age, just stress, just another part of modern life. But that quiet discomfort is often what starts a much bigger conversation about how our bodies respond to the way we live. What's interesting is how common this experience is. People across different ages talk about mornings feeling harder than they used to. Joints feel less flexible, muscles feel tight, energy feels slow to arrive. And because it creeps in gradually, it rarely feels urgent enough to question. Yet these signals are part of how the body communicates, not as a warning or a diagnosis, but as feedback. And understanding that feedback is where awareness begins. One concept that often comes up in these discussions is inflammation. It's a word we hear a lot, and it can sound intimidating, but at its core, inflammation is simply the body's natural response to stress, injury, or imbalance. In the short term, it's protective. It helps heal. The challenge comes when that response stays quietly active for long periods of time. Over months or years, lifestyle factors like sleep patterns, stress levels, movement, and nutrition can influence how balanced or unbalanced that response becomes. This isn't about something being wrong with your body. It's about how adaptable the body is to the environment we place it in every day. That's where daily habits enter the picture. Not extreme routines or dramatic overhauls, but the small choices that repeat themselves. One area researchers often look at is food. Not individual foods as heroes or villains, but overall patterns. What we eat regularly sends signals to the body. Some patterns are associated with steadier energy and comfort. Others may make it harder for the body to regulate itself smoothly. Morning habits tend to get special attention because they help set the tone for the rest of the day. After hours of rest, the body is especially responsive to what comes next. It's important to say this clearly. No single meal controls your health. No breakfast fixes or causes everything, but patterns matter. Research discussions around dietary inflammation often focus on balance. Diets that emphasize whole foods, a variety of plant-based ingredients, healthy fats, and minimal processing are frequently associated with lower markers of inflammation in population studies. This doesn't mean perfection is required or that enjoyment needs to disappear. It simply highlights that consistency tends to matter more than intensity. You've probably heard about certain foods being described as anti-inflammatory. In research conversations, this usually refers to foods that contain compounds studied for their role in supporting the body's natural balance. Things like colorful fruits, especially berries, are often discussed because they contain antioxidants. Herbs and spices, such as turmeric and ginger, are studied for plant compounds that interact with inflammatory pathways. Fatty fish and nuts come up in conversations about healthy fats. Teas, particularly green tea, are frequently mentioned because of naturally occurring antioxidants. None of these are cures. They're simply foods that appear often in dietary patterns linked with overall wellness. What makes breakfast an interesting moment is not that it's magical, but that it's consistent. It's one of the few meals many people eat, almost every day. That repetition means even small adjustments over time can add up. A breakfast that includes a mix of fiber, protein, and healthy fats may feel different from one that's mostly refined sugars and starches. Not immediately, and not for everyone, but gradually. Awareness here isn't about restriction. It's about noticing how your body responds over weeks, not hours. Another factor that doesn't get enough attention is timing and routine. The body follows rhythms. Sleep, light exposure, movement, and eating times all interact with internal clocks. Morning discomfort is often worse because the body has been still for hours. Gentle movement, hydration, and nourishment can help the body transition into the day more smoothly. Again, this isn't instruction, it's observation. People who build steady routines often report feeling more predictable energy and comfort, even if nothing else changes dramatically. One of the biggest frustrations people express is expecting quick results. We live in a world that promises fast fixes, but the body doesn't operate on marketing timelines. Long-term patterns tend to influence long-term outcomes. That can actually be reassuring. It means you don't have to get everything right at once. You don't have to overhaul your life. You can simply start paying attention. How do mornings feel when routines are calmer? When meals are more balanced? When stress is managed a little better? These questions build self-awareness, not pressure. If any of this sounds familiar, you're not alone. Many people are quietly trying to make sense of how their body feels, without clear guidance or simple explanations. That's why conversations like this matter. They replace fear with understanding and confusion with context. If this topic resonates with you, take a moment to like this video. It helps educational health content reach more people who might be asking the same questions. And if you've noticed changes in how your body feels over time, especially in the mornings, feel free to share your thoughts or experiences in the comments. Those shared stories often help others feel less alone. As we continue, we'll look more closely at how everyday habits quietly shape long-term well-being, and why paying attention now can make future choices feel a lot more manageable.